Hi y'all, welcome to Richard in the Kitchen. This is part 2 of an episode that I'm doing about how to properly sear a steak. It is delicious. I've done this before. A lot of the fancy steakhouses, they do this, and what we're looking for is that perfect crust on our steak that is just delicious. So anyway, part 1, I talked about how to season it and what to do. Basically, to recap what I did in part 1, season the steak with just salt, and then we put it on a rack in a baking sheet, put it in the refrigerator overnight. If you've got time to do this, I guarantee you will love this. So with that, we'll talk about what we're gonna have with this and how to properly do this. So what we're gonna have with this steak tonight is we're gonna have a red wine shallot steak sauce. It is wonderful. So let's go over the ingredients, what we're going to need to do this. We're going to need, of course, some red wine, some extra virgin olive oil, salt and pepper, red pepper flakes, which I will put on the steak right before I put it on the hot pan. I like a little pop in my steak. Some real butter, some garlic, some shallots. So let's get this started. Okay, what we're going to do to properly sear the steak is, you can see, I hope you can see you want to get your skillet. I've got it on medium high. We'll hit it with just a little olive oil, swirl that around, and we got this pan smoking hot. What we want to do is we want to put this steak, and you can hear that just the cooking. Now what we want to do is turn this thing about every 30-45 seconds. Going to hit it with a little pepper on this side, and we'll hit it with some pepper on the other side when we turn this steak. Now, like I said, you just want to leave this in there for about 30-45 seconds, and we'll keep flipping this about that same time to get that even cooking there. And like I said, we put this steak in the refrigerator after seasoning it with just salt overnight. Just give it a little press down. It's been about 30-45 seconds. And we're going to flip it. Hit it with a little bit more olive oil. Put some pepper on this side. You can see it's already started to brown. And get that crusty finish that we're looking for. Oh, this is so good. I guarantee you, if you do it this way, you will get the perfectly seared steak. It's got that crust on it that many of your restaurants do. And we're about 2 minutes into this thing. Look at that thing starting to crust up on the outer edges there. This is about a 1-inch steak. So like I said, it's going to take about 6, 7, 8 minutes to properly sear this steak. You want a hot skillet. And man, I tell you what, when you put this red wine shallot sauce over this, whew, it's good. I think I'm going to have some corn on the cob with this tonight. Oh, it smells so good. I wish y'all could smell this. This smells good. Alright, it's been about 30 seconds. Let's flip it again. Look at that. Look at that crust on this thing right here. Oh my goodness. Hit it with a little bit more olive oil. Now what we're going to do, on the last couple of turns, we're going to throw some butter and some herbs in there. And for herbs tonight, I'm going to use thyme. I just love the taste of thyme on steak. Whew, that smells so good. And about halfway through this, I'm going to turn this on its side. You get me a mitt. Turn this on its side, and we will render that fat to this oil to get this whole steak crusted up like we want. You know, let the skillet do the work. You hear that? Oh my goodness gracious, that just, I love the sound of that. You get it on all sides. Man, I wish y'all could smell this. This is so good. Okay, then we flip it again. Look at the crust on this steak. Woo, Lordy, goodness gracious. Alright, we're only about 3 minutes away from having this steak cooked medium rare. And like I said, the last couple of minutes we're going to throw some thyme in there and some butter. And just soak this steak in this butter. Look at that. Ain't that pretty? That is so pretty. I apologize, but I gotta have a sip of beer on this. It smells so good. Okay, now let's throw some garlic in there, and we'll throw some thyme. You'll hear this thyme start to pop. And just kind of brush that steak with that thyme and that garlic. You don't even have to peel the garlic. You just have to do that. Then you turn it. Look at that crust on that steak right there. And hit it with this butter. Now, what we want to do, once this butter starts to melt, look at that right there. Oh my goodness. Just soak that steak with that butter. Oh yeah, look at that. That's good. Brush that steak with that thyme. We give it one more flip and we're almost going to be ready to take it off and let it rest. You don't want your butter to turn black. You just want to baste this steak with this butter and this thyme. My goodness, look at that. Alright, now let's check this other side of it. Oh, look at that. Look at that crust on that steak. Isn't that great? Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take it off the skillet. I'm going to put a little butter and a little garlic on there and lightly fold that steak and just keep it warm and let it rest for about 10 minutes. Now, what we've got here is we got some shallots finely crushed. And we're going to put this in this hot skillet mixed with all those juices from that steak. Give it a quick mix. This is going to be our red wine shallot sauce. Can y'all see that? Man, ooh, that smells so good. We got a couple of twigs of thyme still in there. Alright, now we're going to give it some red wine. Lord have mercy. And what we want to do, can y'all see that? Oh man. And what we're going to do is we're going to let this red wine shallot sauce cook down to about half. We've got butter in there. We've got the steak fat in there. Nothing better than fat. Oh my goodness gracious sakes. Reduce the heat to about low. And this takes about 4 or 5 minutes to cook. And we're going to pour this red wine shallot sauce over that steak once it cooks down and our steak rests and all those juices. Now, I've got the heat turned down to about low. You don't want to burn what garlic you have in there. Whew, my goodness gracious. That smells so good. We got our corn on the cob ready to go and butter. Let all this, try to get your alcohol cooked out of your red wine. Like I said, it don't take long, but I guarantee you, man, I tell you what, once you put this in your mouth, it'll make your tongue sing. I know, I'm crazy, but I tell you what, this is just great. Okay, our steak has rested for about 10 minutes. Our red wine shallot sauce is ready to go. Just take this steak. Look at that. Oh my goodness gracious sakes. That is just beautiful. We're going to have some baked beans and And some corn on the cob. Ooh, Lord. Now, when you cut your steak, make sure you cut it against the grain. Look at that. Look at that. I want y'all to look at that. Oh, perfect medium rare. Oh my goodness. Perfect crust. Whew. Look at that. Look at that. I might even have enough for a little bit left over tomorrow. Check this out. Alright. Let's plate this up right here. We'll plate that. Look at that medium rare steak right there with a perfect crust on it. Just plate some beans up. I like beans. Man, I like beans. I like beans a lot. Look at that right there. Whoo, Lord. Dinner like this, Stanley Cup playoff hockey. Look at this juice I got from resting that steak. We're going to pour that on there. Then we're going to take some of this red wine shallot sauce and just pour that right over that steak right there. I love shallots, man. I tell you what, they taste so good. Look at that. Ah. Then we got some fine cut parsley. We're gonna tuck that, and we're just gonna drizzle it. Might as well put some on the beans and the corn. Check that out. Man, I tell you what, let's give it a taste. Let's give this steak a taste. I'm sorry to eat in front of you like this, but it's good. Especially that red wine shallot sauce. Oh my goodness gracious. Look at that. Give this searing technique a try. I'm sorry for the dog barking, but I think you'll like it. We'll see you next time.